Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 5th episode of Bits of Behrend Athletics podcast. I'm your host, Noah Bartholomew, joined as always by Dan Dabrowski.
Good to be here, Noah.
Tom Doe on the soundboard.
Glad to be here, sir.
So, unfortunately, this week we could not get a guest. I was in Baltimore for 3 days with the men's soccer team at Johns Hopkins. It was a really good experience. Baltimore, I've never been there, so I really enjoyed it. Dan, I don't know if you are a big city guy at all.
I can't say I am, but I've passed through my fair share of big cities. What was your experience in Baltimore like?
It was good. I mean, just all the different places to eat. How close everything is. Like everything's kind of just within walking distance. We were our hotel was by the water, so I went and was by the water a little bit. Saw that. It's cool. I wouldn't say I'm a big city guy. I don't think I could. I can do it for a few days, but then after that, I'm kind of like, yeah, take me back to, Erie or, home. So
Only in New York.
Only in New York, yeah. So it's just I just like the feel of the better, little cities, smaller feel. Definitely easier for me.
Yeah, for sure. What kind of food did you get?
What did we get? Friday we had catered meal, pasta from this local pasta place in Baltimore. It was really good. A couple different dishes of pasta, so I enjoyed it. And then we just got some more local stuff around Shake Shack. We went there.
Good local spot.
I had never had Shake Shack before, so.
Oh, really?
I had never fonded the Shake Shack, so.
Really? What's your review on that? I need to hear that.
It was good. The shake was definitely probably one of the best I've ever had in a fast food setting, I'd say. The burger was good. I can't complain. I definitely, if I can go back to a Shake Shack, I definitely will, for sure.
We'll take that.
Yeah. So, kind of look here at last week, the recap for the week. The women's basketball team, they won 84-60 over St. John Fisher. Rachel Majeski and Elena Fabin each registered 20 points for the Lions. Morgan Altavilla finished with 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, along with 1 steal. Chloe Asmembiak tallied 5 points in 3 minutes off the bench, going 5 for 6 from the line. So good win for the women's basketball team. I know you were at the game, Dan. What did you think?
Yeah, it was a really efficient performance by the women's basketball team. Coming in, I was not aware of how dominant we would be over a school like St. John Fisher, who's by all means a talented school at many sports. So it was really nice to see them get out ahead early and hold the lead throughout the game, and then come in with what ended up being a blowout.
I know. Me and you had a conversation about Elena Fabin, who's the freshman from Indiana, Pennsylvania. She just seems to get her hands on every ball, every loose ball, every rebound. She crashes the board on the offensive rebounds, and it's just she's a player that most teams want to have. She just flies around.
Yeah, it seems like she's got a really high motor. I know we have a very small sample size of seeing her play for Penn State Behrend, but like I said, really high motor. A drive to get the ball wherever it is, and she can absolutely score as well. So
I think it's a really good component that Christine Van Hook had added to her team this year. Definitely to try to repeat in the conference and take down the Roche again. So I think she's a big piece that will come down the stretch in conference play.
No doubt, very exciting for them for sure.
The men's basketball team, they won 94-76 on the road at Teal. If you haven't seen already, Tommy DiRenzo scored a career high 42 points to lead the Lions. He was unbelievable in the game for sure.
What a crazy performance!
No, unbelievable.
Yeah, funny story. I ended up calling him because I didn't see him at class. I didn't realize that he was not going to be there because we had an exam. So I texted him that I was sorry. I'm sorry for calling you, man. I know you have a game. Good luck. And after the game, after he had just finished dropping 42 points, he just responds to me, all good. Thank you, man. No, that was it. That just sums up the type of guy he is. I mean, we've had him on the podcast, obviously. He's just an awesome dude. Congrats to him, man. Very well-deserved 42-point game.
I know I talked to head coach Dave Nyland after, too. And he kind of was just like, yeah, Tommy was on. Tommy was, he just couldn't stop him. And I think that's basically how it sums it up. But just to say it so nonchalantly, but it really is. It really is nonchalant to Coach Nyland and to Tommy himself, because it's just, you expect it from him, because he is, he works his tail off every day, so you expect the results to come for him.
Right. Especially with the consistency, too. I'm sure you'll get into that. Free throw shooting as well.
Yeah. So along with DiRienzo's game high, Matt McDonough, 14 points, Mason Blankenburg, 12 points for their double-figure efforts. DiRienzo also led Behrend on the glass, the game high 6 rebounds. So, perfection was kind of the thing for Tommy that night. He was 15 for 15 from the free throw line, which, coming from a person, I played high school basketball, and when you go into another gym, and I know an environment where it's kind of hostile, it's tough to make your free throws. They're not easy. They're not easy to begin with.
Right.
But going 15 for 15 in an opponent's gymnasium, it's just impressive. Just calm, cool, collected. It shows how his demeanor is, really.
Yeah. It's a product of consistency, too, right? Getting shots up every day, especially from the line, so that's, second nature. Tommy is the epitome of that, right? He's just automatic that game, and I'm sure we'll see numbers like that again from him. And, shout out to the rest of the guys on the basketball team, 2 double-figure scores, including him. And, that's a pretty good momentum builder as we...
So here's some stats for you. Like, here's some history for you, I should say. A couple of guys that I've never met, guys from the 60s and the 70s that Tommy was putting his name in with. His score, so this 42 points puts him in third for single-game scoring rankings behind Jim Golembeski. Sorry if I said your name wrong, Jim. Obviously, I've never met you before, which he set 43 points, 1962-63. And behind Doug Zimmerman, who in 69 and 70 scored 45 points.
Wow.
His mark at the line put him in fourth for single-game makes. He was one behind Zimmerman and Glenn McKinney, who was also 70-71 season. So obviously it shows that he's with some old school guys, and that's always a good thing when you put your name with some old school guys like that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Also the first time that he was able to get over the 40-point plateau. So I knew it was going to happen eventually, but it's crazy that it actually took him 5 years to get there because he's such a good player.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a factor of, the type of offense they run, right? They spread the ball out a lot, give a lot of guys opportunities to shoot. But, it's usually not one person dominating offensively per game for the Behrend Lions. So, hey, Tommy got his game in, and man, I wouldn't be surprised if that isn't the only one.
So he's averaging 36 points a game. I don't think he's gonna keep that up, but if you do, Tommy, good for you, man.
I'd love to see that.
Awesome. Yeah, everybody's loving seeing it. The women's volleyball team on Wednesday, they swept the Roche 3-0 in the AMCC first round. Cadence Jones led the team with her 13th double-double, a match-high 16 kills and 13 digs. Bryn Smith dished out 33 assists, and Alani Salas-Garcia added 8 kills and 9 digs. They advanced to the AMCC semis on Saturday, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Just once again, Dan, we've talked about the women's volleyball team, a young team, a lot to look forward to in the future. Struggles early, but definitely picked it up in conference play, and good to see them, advance to the semifinals game for sure.
Yeah, I think that's, it was a really good performance, especially in the first round, sweeping La Roche. They really needed that. Came up short against Altoona, but hey, what a great job that they've done, especially with the adversity that they faced in the beginning of the season. Man, you can't be disappointed at all as a fan with that result.
No, yeah. So Dan kind of summed it up there. It's just a good performance for the year. They lost to Altoona in the semis on Saturday, who Altoona ended up winning the whole the whole conference championship. So congrats to them for their win over Alfred State. Cadence Jones broke the Behrend women's volleyball single season record for kills against Altoona when she had 22 kills to finish the year with 470 kills. She surpassed Elaine Voltz, who played from 2003 to 2006, who's also in the Hall of Fame for Behrend. she recorded 460 kills. So I'd say as a first-year performance, Gage Jones, you have a lot to look forward from her.
Yeah, without a doubt, especially considering how young this team is. Man, there are going to be some expectations for next year, and I'm absolutely sure that they can deliver on those. Make a deeper run in the AMCC tournament or even beyond.
So, and for them, no seniors on the team this year. So, couple juniors, but for the most part, they're freshman, sophomore driven. So that team will be together for a while to come now. So, getting to the semis and falling short, that's kind of just a learning curve for them. And hopefully, within the years to come, they can get over that hump and bring back a title for the Behrend women's volleyball program.
Definitely.
Little cross-country action as we wrap up the fall on Saturday. All the fall sports ended. Cross-country competed at NCAA regionals. The women's team placed 16th with a team score of 503. Lindsay Hartle was the top finisher for the Lions with a time of 25:14.8. She finished 91st out of 154 runners. Rounding out the top 100 for Behrend was Bethany Litweiler, who registered 96th place with a season best mark of 25:37.9. New York University was victorious with a team score of 32. So congrats to the women's cross-country team for advancing to the regionals and putting on a good performance.
Yeah, absolutely. Super deep field. There's going to be quite a few of those runners that competed at regionals at the national championship. I think they came out, they ran really hard. I was there for both races, and I can say I'm very proud of our cross-country runners.
I know head coach Greg Cooper, I talked to him before, and he had said that with the women's team, it's more of a younger group, obviously.
Right.
So it's more of a learning curve for them as well. But I think he would say that he's impressed with the performance that they put up on Saturday.
Yeah, 100%. We had freshmen come out and run quite hard. Shout out Bailey. She had a pretty good race, especially considering the competition, and a really good learning experience for those younger women.
Yeah, so on to the men's side, the men's cross-country team placed 15th. They had a team score of 382 points at the regional tournament. The reigning AMCC runner of the year, Lucas Boyd, scored a top finish for the Lions. He tallied a season best time of 26:47.8 for 43rd place out of 166 runners. I know he finished 42nd last year, so he might be a little disappointed in himself, but that's a great time by Lucas for sure.
Yeah, considering the course, he ran really well. SUNY Geneseo was really dominant in that race. They had about 6 guys in the top, 20? They ran really hard, and Lucas really held his own with them. Along with the other guys, Bennett Kerr, he had a really nice race. Emil George, Peyton Brewer, man, those guys really went out hard, and especially for Emil's last race, he's done a lot for this cross-country team and track team, so it was good to see him go out and really give it his all.
Yeah, so Dan mentioned Peyton Brewer, who that was his first regional race. He was on the team last year, but he did not run in the regional championship. Season best mark of 27:49.0 for 88th place. Freshman Tim Hamilton rounded out the top 100. He finished 92nd with a career best time of 27:59. And Aiden Reinsell placed 11 spots higher than his finish last year. He ran a time of 28:13.6 across finish line, 101st place. So
super proud of Reinsell.
Yeah, good times, good finishes for those guys. Dan mentioned New York University victorious with a team score of 29, followed by Geneseo, who was right behind him with 30 points. So New York University apparently is a running school, I'd say.
Yeah, they can run. They're quite good at distance running, and especially cross country, as that shows. They were very much in the national race. I think the polls had them in the top 10, well in the top 10, almost cracking the top 5. So that just gives you an idea of the level of competition our cross country runners were up against.
I mean, I always got to give credit where credit's due for the cross country runners. I personally could not do it. Could not do the sport. Maybe I run a mile or two and I'm dead tired. They're running about 6 to 8 miles.
Yeah,
and they look fine. They look like they're all right, and they can do it again, and they do it again. They do it over and over again, and I don't know. It's just impressive to me.
Yeah, 100%. Funny story by my good buddy Emil, who ran at regionals. He loves to do a long run every Sunday. And as long as I've known him, his long runs have been in the range, depending on the season and where his competition phase is, in the range of 15 to 17 miles for his long run. On a Sunday, he wakes up, on a weekend, no class, goes and puts down 17 miles. Unbelievable.
You know what I do on a Sunday, Dan?
Watch football?
Absolutely. Sit in my chair, eat chips, watch football. Definitely am not running any miles.
Do you want to know what Tom did?
I do, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, I caulked a tub. The tub needed some caulking, so I did that. Then I went out to my garage. I changed the oil in my truck. Then after that, I went over to my daughter's house with my ladder and helped her with her Christmas lights. And then I painted the back of her porch. And then I came home and watched some football.
That's pretty impressive,
That's a
though.
productive Sunday.
Really
I'd say.
productive.
You think that's like the same thing as running 17 miles?
Close.
I don't know if we. I don't know if we can compare the two, but they're both can help somebody.
That's a heck of a lot to get done in one day. I mean, it's
thanks.
pretty impressive.
I mean, I was impressed with myself a little bit. I did do 3 loads of laundry, which
Hey,
is like
that's
There you
good.
go.
an absurd amount of laundry. I was behind, but I definitely wanted to get it done before Thanksgiving coming up.
Oh, yeah.
So speaking, Tom Doe brought up Christmas lights. There is snow in the forecast this week.
Is there really?
That's what I
There
heard.
is for yes
Can you,
on Thursday,
oh,
as
no.
far as I know.
Oh, no.
It's not
That's
supposed to
not
stick,
great.
though, is it? I think maybe just a little bit like.
I mean,
or
it
something.
won't. It's too.
Yeah.
It's too. It won't stick. But just the fact of just seeing it will be a little disappointing. I'm not, and the listeners will learn. I'm very big anti-snow guy. Not a snow guy. Don't do. Got to be nice and warm out for me.
I don't understand that, guys.
I don't mind the snow, though. I mean, I like the changes of the season. I like the snow. Sometimes it just seems like when it hits like in October and stays until like the end of April, then it gets a little long.
Yeah.
But I like the changes of the season, and I hate to say it, but I welcome the snow. I've got snow tires, and I got ways to get my driveway cleared at home. So
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how you're anti-snow or vehemently anti-snow, but I mean, come on. Erie, Pennsylvania, you get a nice little, we don't have them anymore, but a snow day back in the day, man, that
I never got snow. That's the thing. Like we got in Olean, we'd get a ton of snow, but like there wasn't snow days. Like you'd have to get like I think in 4 years of high school, I got one snow day, one cold day because it was freezing outside. That was it. That was in 4 years.
I think I've had just about that much, right? Erie has been,
You guys got the lake effect, a little bit
Yeah,
standard there.
the lake effect's
I don't,
brutal.
we didn't have that.
yeah.
when you take a look at, who usually has delays or snow days? It's usually like Wattsburg, the ones that are south of 90.
Yeah.
Those are the schools. Just because the back roads, it's harder to keep them clean. And sometimes when it comes down, when the lake is frozen and it comes down, and drops everything south of 90. It's crazy, but we really haven't had that much snow lately.
No.
I will say last winter wasn't terrible. Wasn't. I will say one thing I have learned since I did move to Erie is like the wind. The wind's kind of unreal here.
Wind off the lake is no joke.
Yeah, like
man.
it's
You get some high winds.
it's unreal. Like I think one day, like I was telling my mom this. I'm like, one day I was literally got home and I was walking towards my door to get in my building, and I think I was stopped in my tracks. That's how hard the wind was blowing at me. I'm like, man, I felt like somebody was just pushing me backwards. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, the wind is pretty wicked.
Yeah, you gotta love it though. I tell you what, you can call me weird for this. I DoorDash, right? Sometimes I enjoy DoorDash, like not ordering it. I like delivering it, and I'll go out there in a blizzard. Man, I have the time of my life. I put some music on, I turn the heat up in the car, and I just go deliver people's food for however long. I'll go out at like 8 p.m. and then till like 1 a.m. on like a Friday night. Make $100. You know,
I
get some
mean, I'm
cash
sure you
to-
make pretty good money because people don't want to go out. People do not want to go outside and get food.
Yeah, I get a lot of I'm sorries in the wintertime when it's really snowing. Like, I'm sorry I made you do this. I'm like, you ordered the food. You don't have to apologize to me. Then they tip you 20 and it all goes away.
It's not a bad thing. It's not bad.
Dan, question for you related to the wind, to your sport specifically.
Ooh.
So obviously in football, with kickers, the wind, they obviously use it to their advantage, or they don't, or it's to their disadvantage depending on which way they're kicking.
Yeah.
Do you seem to do that from a discus standpoint, from a throwing standpoint? If the wind's with you, will you use the wind to throw? Is that like a thing? Is that a thing in your sport? I guess
Yeah.
I'm asking.
So it's kind of interesting with the discus, as you can't really use the wind because you can't change the circle, right? You can't change the direction of the circle. So, contrary to popular belief, you would think, Professor Doe, what type of wind would you want for throwing? A discus specifically.
You would think you'd want one from the back.
Like
from
a
your back.
tailwind.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. That's actually not the case. You want a headwind, right?
Why?
So the way you throw the disc is you want it at a slight angle. So maybe like 25-degree angle. I'll get the numbers straightened out on this. You want it slightly tilted upward, right? That's just how it comes out of your hand most efficiently. You can't throw it flat or else it's going to get too much, down force, right? But if you get it up at the right angle and you have a nice headwind coming under it, it will create more lift.
I can see that in the visual you're giving here in the studio. I absolutely see it that way.
Yeah, we definitely getting a visual here. Yeah, that's why I asked. I didn't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
you would think you want a tailwind though. But if you have the tailwind, right? Think about it. As the discus is at an angle, the tailwind's going to push that back end of the discus down, right? And a rule in the discus is it has to go high if you want it to go far.
Okay.
You want to get the most, time in the air, right? Because you can't count the discus after it rolls. You want to get the most time in the air that you can with the discus, so you get a lot of power on it, and you get that wind to take it up. It can make a heck of a lot of difference. Actually, the world record in the discus was almost a 40-year-old world record was broken this summer in Ramona, Oklahoma, of all places, because there's a discus cage there that has legendary winds, right? Legendary winds. They could change they have different cages based on the wind direction. So world champions and the highest level discus throwers go there to try to PR, to try to set world records. And, a 22-year-old, 21-year-old did it this summer.
Isn't that kind of cheating, though?
You would think.
You would think if they got something made specifically to take a wind a certain way, and I don't know, it kind of seems like.
Yeah, I mean, I could
cheating a
see
little bit.
what you're saying, but like, I guess if you're considering a world, like, it's a non-controlling factor. I guess. I mean, you can't control.
You can't control the speed of the wind.
You could
right?
you could definitely pick a day where you're like, I guess that would be the cheating aspect, if you want to call it cheating, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
You could definitely pick a day where you see like the winds are going to be to your advantage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the
Which-
key to it.
Yeah, which I would say that's not cheating. But I thought when you said they have certain chambers set up, that or whatever it was you said. I'm sorry.
No, it's just just the discus cage. That's all. Just the way that they're throwing, the direction that they're throwing.
I guess it wouldn't be cheating then, 'cause unless you have some kind of turbine,
Like
But
a jet
otherwise-
engine,
Yeah,
right?
otherwise you're okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Some people are not happy about that, because, the guy that set the world record was, in all likelihood, juiced to the gills, if you will. That was the steroid era.
Yeah.
And it wasn't very controlled in throwing.
Yeah.
And that record hasn't been touched. Like, people had come within barely a meter, actually, not even a meter of that from that time on. Yeah. So
I'm sorry. What was the distance then? The longest one?
So the world record was 73 meters, and then the world record that was set this summer was 74.35, which is
That's absurd.
almost 250 feet with a 4.4 pound disc.
You say 70. What was it? 74.
74.35.
And what's your score record?
Oh goodness! See, this is gonna make it sound like
Yeah, I'm just trying to compare
Yeah,
the two here because
okay.
I know it's not even close. But
No, it's really not.
nothing to take away from the record. Dan does hold the record, but
But here's the thing: there's levels to this thing. You know, that's kind of how this works, right? I hope this record goes down, sooner rather than later. But I throw 52.25 meters, and this guy threw 22 meters. I mean, the discus was 20 feet over my head. If I was standing at my PR.
Yeah.
This guy's incredible, and he's a year younger than me.
that's unbelievable.
So
It's good stuff.
his
Practice.
dad, his dad holds the. It's now the fourth farthest mark of all time, so it runs in the family. You can say that kid's incredible.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy.
Good stuff.
All right, back to our week recap. The men's soccer and men's and women's soccer teams were both defeated in the overtime of their NCAA first round games, but congrats to them for making it that far.
100%.
The women fell 1-0 against Ithaca at Misericordia, also obviously in overtime. And the men fell 1-0 at number 15 Johns Hopkins. Good showings from both the teams. Competitive games, but obviously as Dan knows, in postseason it's a different animal. It's just a different atmosphere.
Yeah, it is, and it's just unfortunate. As you can see, both teams played incredibly hard, played their hearts out, and sometimes the cards just don't fall the way you want to, right? On a corner kick that, it's those things are crazy. Anything can happen on a corner, and unfortunately, it just didn't go our way. But I'm still extremely proud of both soccer teams this season. Had incredible performances. Dominance all throughout, up until the very end.
Yeah, it was exciting to see both programs succeed as much as they did. It definitely sets the table for next year.
Yes, 100%.
The women's basketball team, they dropped their home contest against Chatham, 80-52 on Saturday. Madeline Boyer led the team with 18 points. Morgan Altavilla added 14. She also tallied her 100th career point on a three-pointer.
1,000th.
Or 1,000th, sorry. 1,000th career point.
Shout out Morgan.
She had 100 in freshman year.
Right.
First couple of games. But yeah, 1,000th career point for Morgan Altavilla. 15th player in program history to do it. Congrats to her. She's only a junior, and it's only her fourth game of the year. So
Oh yeah, the sky's the limit.
she's got a lot more points that she's gonna score for sure.
Super exciting times for them.
Yeah. Her and Rachel Majeski. Well, I'm curious to see where they both finish in the when it's all said and done in program history with scoring wise.
Could be pretty high.
Yeah, I'd assume pretty high, yes. On Sunday, the women's bowling team competed in the AMCC Round Robin 1. They finished with a record of 5-2. They sit in a three-way tie for second in the conference standings with William Smith and Pitt Bradford. Now, if you don't know how bowling works, they have 2 conference round robins during the year, and this is basically how you seed yourself for the postseason. So the first round robin was Baker, so that's all team scores. The second will be traditional, so each girl or each bowler will bowl their own score, and you'll add it up to total it. But top 6 teams make it to postseason play. So sitting, we set ourselves up for success for the conference tournament in Pittsburgh in March. So second's good.
Yeah, great job by them.
Yeah, William Smith is ranked and was ranked in the preseason polls. So to be tied with them and Pitt Bradford is an impressive showing.
100%. Shout out the bowling team. Long season for them though.
Oh, it's kind of like people ask me, what season do you consider bowling to be? And you really can't answer it because they start in like the middle of the fall season, I guess. So like when soccer and cross country and all them are in the middle of their season, and they don't end until end of March, which is when baseball and softball is going. So they're basically hit all 3 seasons: fall, winter, spring. So it's
that's you need commitment, to be on a collegiate bowling team.
Oh yeah, I mean and they get it's like a lot of it they're doing on their own in a sense of when breaks hit, Like they don't compete again until December 7th. So they get all the Thanksgiving break, and then they come back and have to compete. And then they'll get the 2 or 3 weeks off for Christmas break. So it's like they gotta be on their own, going to their local bowling alley and making sure they're keeping their game up.
Yeah, that's very, very impressive dedication out of them.
Definitely will hold you accountable.
For sure.
Who's working and who's not.
For sure.
Can we talk about high bowling scores? Did we talk about that before? What's your highest bowling score?
What's my highest bowling score? Probably a 220,
It's impressive.
I'd say. But I don't think I don't know how I did it, and I don't think I can do it again.
Me either.
That was mine. Mine was somewhere around there.
Yeah, it was just unreal. Like I said, I don't think I could do it again.
Dan?
I think I got really lucky one time, and I think I scored a 180.
Yeah.
Really
bad.
lucky, and I mean that's an outlier.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times it seems I bowl my best when I go out to bowl for the night, which has been years now. Usually the best game I get is the first game I roll, because then I start thinking about stuff, and I'm not that good in bowling, and so what am I thinking about? I don't know. But usually my best game is my first game of the night.
I've been in that boat too. Yeah,
it's usually how because I feel like bowling and golf for me are very similar. Usually my first couple holes are if I play well, then the day will be all right. But if it's like with bowling, if the first couple frames they're not where they're supposed to be, then it's a downward trajectory.
That happens.
And I've always thought about like the past 2 or 3 summers I've dedicated it, and I've gotten fairly good at golf. I'd like to think I didn't play a lot when I was in high school, so I kind of picked it up after high school. But I've thought about it. I'm like, man, maybe I should just pivot and just try to get really good at bowling, and just because I think bowling, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying bowling's easier than golf because I have no idea what is comparable, like what's easier. But maybe if golf's just such a frustrating sport.
Yeah, I was golfing a little bit in high school for fun, and as soon as I had to start, really paying for my own stuff, I realized that it just was not worth the money to get so angry at myself. It's
I
unbelievably
actually
frustrating.
am gonna buy my first set of clubs this winter.
There you go.
The one purchase I'm going to make. It's always I think I got clubs from my buddy like 3 years ago, and then I feel like I've just kind of like I've seen a couple. I'll go to garage sales and get a club here, get a club there. Best club I got is like a driver that my buddy gave me that he barely used because he doesn't need a driver, which is absurd because.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's the only club I can hit.
So it's kind of nice. It's going to be nice to have a set of clubs that I guess are mine, and they're all the same club and the same, because I feel like I'm all over the map pulling out clubs.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. It's a good purchase. What brand are you going with?
It's a good question. I have not made up my mind fully yet.
I told you. I heard Costco makes really good irons.
I have heard that. I've been doing a lot of
joke.
research. I've been doing a lot of research because I feel like it's a big purchase and I don't want to screw it up.
Very fair.
Let me ask you a question, though. Doesn't some of that have to deal with how good you are as a golfer? I mean, the best set of clubs that you can get, whatever that might be, isn't necessarily going to make you a better golfer.
See, I agree 100% with you.
I've got some clubs from my grandfather that the woods are actually woods, where the woods are coming apart. But
I
then again,
have a couple actual woods too.
You see, I don't buy them because I'm not that good, and I don't want to spend all that money on a club, like you said before. Yeah, I think it's I think with practice, I think
I think it's more for me. It's like I'm at the point where it's like a mentality thing. It's like if I buy my own clubs, then I'm all in. Then it's like we have to get good at this sport. Like you have to be consistently good.
That's a good motivator right there.
Yeah.
If you do buy your own clubs, hey, I want to get my money's worth here, so I'm going to get out there and do better. So maybe on that aspect, it does help.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean. That's how I'm justifying it.
Yeah, 100%. You know what I can't justify? Buying expensive golf balls.
No, I that's one thing I'll never do. I'll never buy an expensive thing of golf.
Those
golf.
Pro V1s, I used to work at a golf course. $50 for a box.
There's
Not a big box,
Like,
just
wow.
a sleeve.
I'm not
Is that
buying.
like what, 3 or 4?
Yeah.
I'm not buying Callaways. I'm not buying I go to Walmart and I buy the nitros. I think they're like I can't even remember you get like 15 to 20 balls in a pack and it's like $10 something like that.
Dude, you gotta go get those guys that dive in the water hazards
Yeah.
for golf. You can get like something like that. You get a bag of I don't even know what they are. Walmart on the bottom shelf, and they're in a red like net bag. You get like I don't know a bag full
Yeah.
for like $15.
That's me. That's me.
I just I used to pick up Pro V1s all the time from the woods, from from the rough, from everywhere else, and I'm like, man, that's so much money. I used to have like a good stash of 20 Pro Vs.
My buddy's grandpa used to live like behind a course, and he would do that. He'd go in the water hazards and stuff. He'd sell us buckets. Yeah, he literally just have these old buckets. He'd sell us buckets for like $5. You just go to his house. He'd be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go play. And here's $5." He'd hand you a bucket because he'd fill them up like every weekend. He's
Yeah,
just going out
absolutely.
and filling them up.
Yeah, that's nothing for him, but you're getting a Pro V1 that somebody hit one time.
One time, and yeah, it worked out for me.
Right.
Didn't work out for them, but I'm okay with it. Finishing up on Sunday, the wrestling team defeated Waynesburg 40-10 and W&J 40-18 at the Waynesburg Duels. Matt Caldwell, Rudy Brown, and Isaac Myers each recorded a pair of wins. Jake Brown, Caldwell, and Hunter Savitz got their lone win of the day by tech fall. Zach Dellinger and Myers were victorious by technical fall at 125 and 141. A couple of pins for the Lions. Just a good showing for them this weekend.
They should be very happy with that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, two team wins. Lycoming's naturally a good wrestling team, so
Yeah, that was a tough one, but I did talk to Coach Garvey, and yeah, he just said they had some good guys, and like he said, right now they're dealing with a couple of issues in their lineup with injuries and stuff. It's early on though, so yeah, I mean, good to see guys getting opportunities and making the most of it for sure.
absolutely.
We got to talk about soccer AMCC All Conference. The women's soccer team had 10 players selected. Players of the year and first team selections. Trinity Prestash was, of course, your offensive player of the year. Nicole Crouchor was the defensive player of the year. Other first team honorees: Marlene Andrade, Audra Kuzma, Megan Kurliski, and Riley Morningstar. On the second team, Rachel Sakari, Lindsay Pulaski. And on the third team, Lizzie Hoff and Anna Steinbeck. So congrats to the women's soccer team.
Yeah, congrats, guys.
And on the men's side, 8 players secured the honors. First team honors went to Blake Cooper and Andrew Casano. Second team, Owen Peterson, Riley Nichols, and Anthony Scalise. And third team honors, Jonathan Swan, John Ziobro, and Brock Kiefer. So congrats to all the soccer AMCC All-Conference selections.
Yeah, great job, everybody. Well deserved after the season they both had.
Absolutely. And then we got to give our final update of the season. Sad it's our final update, but Trinity Prestash, who we talked about before, was the all-time leading goal scorer in program history. Became it this year, 70 goals. She finished second in program history in career points with 158. She was right behind Alex Bilka, who had 160 career points. For the season, she finished with 27 goals, 7 assists for 61 points to go along with 10 game winners to lead the conference. She only trailed in single-season goals and points Jordan Oberlander, who scored 30 goals in 2017 and 66 points in 2016. Just a phenomenal year for her.
Phenomenal year and career.
Absolutely. She'll be missed. She will definitely be missed by the women's soccer team.
Yeah, without a doubt. She should be very, very proud of not only the senior season, but the 4 years that she's made the Behrend women's soccer team proud.
It's sad for us too, from a podcast standpoint, because she gave us a lot of content every week to discuss. So
A lot to recap, right?
She will be missed from that aspect. But
Oh, yeah.
congrats, Trinity, on a great career. Brings us to our Lions of the Week. This is on psblions.com, our Athletes of the Week. Cadence Jones was our Female Athlete of the Week. She tallied a team-high 38 kills to go along with 26 digs in the AMCC tournament to earn a spot on the all-tournament team. And, of course, Tommy DiRienzo, had to give him the nod. Our Male Athlete of the Week. He, obviously, we discussed his career night, points, free throws. So,
Yeah, great job, both of you guys.
yeah, congrats to those guys. Upcoming schedule for the week. Monday, men's basketball heads to Pittsburgh, take on Carnegie Mellon at 7. Wednesday, the wrestling home opener versus St. Vincent starts at 7. 2024-25 schedule magnets will be given away in the Junker Center starting at approximately 6 p.m. The first 250 fans will receive a magnet. So if you want to come out and get a free magnet and watch the wrestling team, I encourage it.
Yeah, go get your magnet.
Women's basketball team on Wednesday will travel to Buff State, take on them at 5:30. Friday, swimming and diving, first day at the Blue Devil Invite. Diving's at 10, swimming's at 6. Men's basketball will compete in the Hobart tournament against Buff State at 7:45. The men's water polo team battles Stanford in the first round of the MPSF championships. 1:15 p.m. Eastern time, folks, because they are in LA. Eastern time for us. Saturday, the wrestling team hosts a tri-match versus Pitt Bradford and Hiram, beginning at 5. So if you missed the action on Wednesday, please come out Saturday and support the wrestling team.
2 opportunities.
Absolutely. There are a couple more coming up, too.
Oh, yeah.
Day 2 for the swimming and diving team at the Blue Devil Invite, once again 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Men's water polo team, second round game in L.A. Men's basketball team will play in the consolation or championship game of the Hobart tournament. For more information, head to psblions.com if you want to see the game times and who our opponent will be. The women's basketball team is at Oberlin at 2 p.m. And Sunday is the final day of the Blue Devil Invite for swimming and diving. Men's water polo season will finish up at the conference championships. So a lot of away things. Once again, psblions.com, video links, live stat links. If you want to follow if you're unable to go, if you want to follow any of these sports.
Everything you need to follow your Behrend Lions. Not to be outdone, Wintergreen Media. You can find live streams of all Behrend events.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Had to give-
In fact, our last one was really our best one so far this semester. So hats off to my team there. Thank you for the plug. That's very kind.
I like that, yeah. Some housekeeping items that we want to go over here. We've been so busy with the crossover season. Wanted to give a shout out for the Athletics Giving Day that we had last month on October 4th. As a whole, the athletic department raised $123,781 from more than 630 donors.
Thank you.
So, yeah, just a big shout out to everyone who gave. Means a lot. It's going to go, it's going to mean a lot towards travel, gear costs, food, just every expense that we have from athletes that people don't realize. There's a lot of expenses to getting our teams to competing in these tournaments and these games on a daily basis. So,
Yeah, from an athlete himself, thank you so much to everybody that donated. It goes a long way and ensures that all of Behrend Athletics can compete and participate in everything that they've earned competing throughout the season.
yeah. So once again, thanks for every donor. We'll be back at it next year and same time. So more information to come. The Penn State Behrend baseball team is once again participating in No Shave November to raise awareness and money for Grady's Decision. If you don't know what Grady's Decision was created to help families experiencing premature births as well as those families with children needing specialized medical attention. Grady's Decision can assist with parking costs, food, housing, and transportation needs. They serve as a beacon of hope through prayer, words of encouragement, gifts, and acts of kindness. Grady's Decision provides an avenue for people to donate and assist these family members during these difficult and emotional times. Please consider making a donation to a Behrend Lions baseball player or contacting Coach Paul Benham about making a donation. He works hand in hand with assistant coach and alum Ryan Smith every year for this cause, and it's a great cause. So if you don't know much about it, just reach out to a player or a coach and get involved. It's a good cause.
No doubt. Very good cause.
Which brings us to our favorite segment of the day. Nothing to do with sports. Dan, you're going to like this one.
I have no clue what's going on here. I don't have it on the sheet. Thank you,
It's kind of weird how a coincidence how it worked out is we started talking about bowling and golf, and this kind of plays into what I'm gonna ask here. And I saw this online. I thought it was funny. First date etiquette. So
Okay.
you're taking a girl on a first date to go bowling or to play mini golf. Here's the real question. Are you going all out to try to win, or are you taking it easy? Dan, start with you.
I'll start. I think I'm going to have to yield to the married man in the room. But,
You're going to pass it along.
well, here's all I'm going to say. There's absolutely no use in hiding your competitive spirit on the first date, right? If you let her win, what does that say about, your trustworthiness going forward, right? I mean, I'm very passionate about mini golf. Love Lake Pleasant mini golf. Shout out Eric Friedman. He is awesome and, former thrower himself. Man, I have a group of about 5 friends from home. Anytime we're all together in the summer, we're going to go play mini golf. We certainly don't wager on it, but we are getting after it and trying to beat each other and talking a whole ton of smack along the way. I can't see a world where you completely yield, your game and let the other party win. Professor Doe, do you have an opinion on this?
Yes, I do. And this is my opinion. I agree with you. And this is why. My wife, one time before me, went out with somebody who was being just a baby when they were out playing golf because my wife was kicking his butt. And he started throwing a tantrum and acting like a complete idiot. So then my wife saw this and she said, okay, whatever. So she started throwing the game so he would be happy again. And it's like, come on, man, that's ridiculous of the guy, first of all. Second of all, if my wife and I are so competitive, there's no way I'm letting her win, and there's no way she's letting me win. We're doing the best we can to beat each other. And the thing is, it's just a game. It's
right.
No big deal. So I would not. I personally wouldn't throw a game, and I wouldn't want someone else to throw a game to let me win. And if I had to throw a game to let some other person win, I probably wouldn't be spending much time with that person after that date, because it's just come on, it's a game.
Excellent take, Noah.
I agree with what you guys are saying. I've had an experience like this before. It's kind of why this question brought back something for me. It's a good story in a sense. So there was this girl I went out with in high school, and the first date I'd been trying to get her to go out with me on a date for a while. So it was kind of like we finally got her to go on a date. We're going bowling. And I kind of had the thought process of I'm not gonna give it my all in a sense. I'm not gonna throw the game, but I'm just gonna first couple frames, I'm gonna take it easy. Whatever happens. You get a 6, you get a 7. It happens. Did not know that she was a ringer when it came to bowling. So by the 4th frame, I think, or 5th frame, I'm down pretty good. I'm down. The comeback trail is tough. I'm down pretty good. And then I'm like, everybody who knows me, I'm a very competitive person myself. I do not like to lose. No. So then it was one of those things where I'm looking at the score and I'm like, man, I like just the pit of my stomach. I'm getting really I'm very good at not showing my frustration just from years of sports, like playing basketball, like missing a bunch of shots. You don't want to show the opponent like you're down and out, because even though you're feeling it down and out, you're like, man, I can't make a shot. But they don't know that. I didn't want her to feel that way. I was hiding it to my best of my ability, just to be like, yeah, like we're having fun, good job. But in the back of my head, I'm like, man, I have to catch up, or like this is inexcusable on my part. So from there on out, from that experience on out, I've never done that again. Like if we go bowling, if we play mini golf, I'm playing to the best of my ability, no matter what the score is.
Yeah, I like that take.
Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead, Dan, but let me
Yeah,
one second.
no, that's fine.
I'll play to the best of my ability, but if I'm really kicking butt, I'll use up just a bit.
Well, I'm not gonna be a jerk
Oh,
about
right.
it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna be a jerk.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it competitively, you have to just like it's like playing a game. It's like you're not if your opponent's down and out, you're not gonna push them to the ground even
Right,
more.
absolutely. Right. Okay, 10-4.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
agree.
Dan.
You know, if you're playing one-on-one basketball, it doesn't matter who you're playing against. If you're just dog walking them, it's like you're going to skunk them 11-0. You're not going to dunk on them the last point. You're just going to ease up a little bit, take the foot off the gas. If they score a couple points, that's fine, you know? So, no, what happened with that date? What became of it?
I mean, I finished it. I didn't think I was going to for a little. I was sweating. I was sweating pretty bad. 'Cause,
Did you win?
Oh, absolutely not. I couldn't win, Dan. I put myself in too big of a hole the first few frames that it was just like, and I'm not a good enough bowler
No
to
coming
to
back.
get myself out of that.
Yeah,
If it was if it was a different sport, I might have been able to, but not with bowling. It's just
yeah.
so I did lose, but I took it like a champ, lost like a champ. I knew it was my own fault. If I wanted to win, I would not have played it easy the first couple frames. That's on me. But yeah, my other recommendation, and to avoid things like this, is if it's a first date, like I'm not talking like second, third, fourth, whatever. I'm talking a first date. Maybe avoid the bowling. Maybe avoid the competitive atmosphere for the very first date. Maybe just go to a movie, go get something to eat, something light and low key.
Absolutely, because you got to figure out how the other person's going to, size up to you. So that way, if you take them bowling, you have an idea how you're going to play your
Well,
game.
no,
Is
absolutely.
that what you're saying?
I would have definitely questioned her a little bit and been like, "What's your background with bowling?" And if she would have said, "I'm really good," I would have been like, "Well, if I take her bowling, I definitely am not going to give her a couple frames." Like,
Right.
Would that be something? I think it'd be nice to actually find out what they like and then go do something like that. It's got to go both ways, obviously, but
Yeah.
at least, like you said, though, get to know them and then say, "Hey, that person really likes to do this. Well, let's go check that out."
no, I agree. Yeah, so all in all, I think biggest advice here is obviously don't throw anything, don't give anything away.
Right.
Correct.
But also, if you can avoid it as a first date, take them somewhere else.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? You don't want to. I mean, that's a pretty risky.
Yeah,
First date.
it'd be good to get to know them more. Also,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Go out somewhere and talk. Have something to eat. Maybe walk along the beach, whatever,
There you
whatever
go.
it might be, and then figure that out. And then, you might say, she might say, "Oh, I bet you I could beat you at this or beat you at that." Say, "Oh yeah, well I think I could beat you and whatever." Then maybe the second date go out and do that or something. But I agree with you. Get to know them first, and throw any kind of competitiveness out of it.
Yeah. You know
and then,
what?
Go from there.
Yeah. Being good at bowling is great. Mini golf, that's cool. You know what's really cool? When, your date's good at cornhole. You go to the 4th of July picnic and your date can play cornhole.
That might be the biggest asset to have in a person that you're dating.
It's up there.
Because I know from my experience is with family parties and everything, there usually is a cornhole board. Obviously, if it's nice out, there usually is a cornhole board.
Oh yeah.
And if the girl you're with is a ringer, then most people notice that stuff. And
Yep.
it's-
Yeah. And if she's not, people also notice. If she can't, I get it if you're not, 4-bagging every time. But if you can't hit the board, if your date can't hit the board, man, that's, you got to think about some things.
Definitely an evaluation process there with the cornhole.
Yeah, you have more things to think about than not. If she didn't score one point for you the whole
So
game.
I think what Dan's saying is maybe your first date is you just take her and you throw some cornhole bags.
There you go. Or you could set up a whole gauntlet: baseball, basketball, soccer, cornhole, mini golf.
And don't keep score.
There you go.
No score now.
Just a skills assessment.
It's a skill. No. Yeah, it's just training camp basically.
It's the combine is what it is. It's the NFL draft combine. There you go. Wow. We learned a lot today, I think.
I think we definitely. I mean, we're not a dating show. We're not a dating advice show.
Clearly.
But I think we give a little bit of advice, with some tips. Whether you want to follow them or not, that's your own discretion.
Yeah, I think 1 out of 3 of us is qualified to give dating advice.
Trying to see a sound effect I have for that. Like, let's see. Let's throw this one out.
It's like the blunder sound effect.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
I don't think any of us are qualified for the.
Oh, man. That was pretty good. Oh, man.
But yeah, that's our segment. Nothing to do with sports. Next week, we will be off next week for the Thanksgiving holiday. So I hope everybody from Penn State Behrend and around the world enjoys their Thanksgiving break.
Absolutely.
We will return on BVZ Radio at 12:30 on December 2nd. You can also listen at home or at work on Behrend Athletics YouTube page or Bits of Behrend on Spotify. So thank you, everybody, for listening.
Thanks for listening. Yeah.
Thank you. Have a
Good
nice
day.
nice day.